in another segment. I would never say there's nothing you can say about the kid to say he doesn't want to compete. It was obviously something that was going on in his mind, excuse me, and even with his parents, they must have obviously agreed with it, or maybe it was just his decision that he's known Coach Prime a long time. He flipped for Coach Prime from Notre Dame, so he saw something that he didn't like. And most of the people, most of you all are fans of Coach Prime, just like I am. But I know that everything he does and says, is not perfect because he's human. So for Dylan, who comes across as a great kid, I've never heard not anyone who knows him, as far as the media is concerned, say anything even close and negative about him. He seems like a very good smart young man, very nice, very respectful. So for him to make that move, to me, it is a big deal. But he obviously saw that he was no longer, or felt like, and he could be wrong. He could have read the situation wrong. Let me say that. But he obviously felt like he wasn't part of that Lloyd luggage um, that he was led to believe. So he decided to transfer. Now, do I agree with it? I'm going to assume he knows something that I don't or we don't, and he had to make that move for himself. We cannot say it was a good move until after we see him play with Kansas State for a couple of years. So we can't say that. Do I think Coach Prime and Colorado would be fine? Yes, because they're as we speak, they have 33 new players coming in, and I'm going to assume most of these players are legit players that can help them win in their new conference in the Big 12. So I'm going to say, as of now, I'm going to have to trust that Coach Prime and his staff know what they're doing, um, and that they're going to be okay regardless. But I think it's something else I want to talk about that I know will affect players, especially when you're a losing team like they were, especially when you're not performing up to the level you know you can. I'm gonna go into what I think can be bothering them too, which nobody wants to say. And again, this is not hating. This is coming from a player's perspective, especially when you're losing, especially when you're not performing to in your mind the capabilities, and then when you start thinking, why do I feel like I'm always competing, but some of the other guys are not competing? Let me give you an example. I think is also a little bit of Sanders overload. What do I mean by Sanders overload? First of all, you have a big famous coach, and Coach Sanders as your head coach. That's a lot in itself. Um, you have a Sanders as a QB. Now he is a legit QB and he deserved to be there, but nobody's been brought in to scare him or to he has to fight for a starting position. He hasn't had to fight for a starting position since he came to Jackson State. So you got the head coach as a Sanders, you have the QB as a Sanders. Then he looks at his other son, who's a safety, Shiloh, who again I like. I'm not hating on. I think Shiloh plays hard and he creates turnovers, which is what he should do as a safety. He's seeing him there every season. He's not really having to fight for a position. Then he sees Mr. Hunter, which is again one of my favorite players. So Travis Hunter, I'm not hating on him. He see him on both sides of the ball. And I always thought, and I did some segments last year, that I always thought that could bother some of those receivers who are not talking. That yes, he's legit. Yes, he's good, but it's taking some of their catches away, some of their attempts away. And we know that Dylan could not rush a lot last year because of the line. So Dylan was looking for passes out of the backfield, but you got other talented wide receivers. One just signed with the Cardinals, which congratulations to him. His name is slipping my mind right now. But my point is that you're looking at Travis, who's playing both sides of the ball, and that's taking away some of his activity as far as catching balls out the back. Then he sees another Sanders who's running the media. Now, what do I mean by that? Do I appreciate what Deion Sanders Jr. does with the media? Of course I do. But I also know as a player, when things are not going your way, or you feel things are not going your way, and you're losing on top of that, a lot of people lose the point that they are 4-18. That after they won their fourth game, they lost the rest of the season, so they have not won a game in a while. And then you turn around with the cameras in your face. And one of the segments I did last year was I said Dylan doesn't appear happy because I'm watching him through the cameras, and I was like, he's shying away from the cameras. He doesn't look as happy, et cetera, et cetera. Now I could not have predicted he was going to leave the team. I don't, I didn't see that far into the future, but I saw last year he was even getting tired of the cameras in your face. And this is what happens when you're an athlete and you're losing, or you don't feel like you're part of the Louis luggage and things are not going well. The last thing you want to deal with is what? the media or the cameras in your face. But when you join the Colorado Buffs, you do have to understand that's going to be a part of your season. That's going to be a part of your everyday living. Is there will be cameras in your face, and I don't think he dealt with that last year because he obviously was not happy last year. If you all watch his body language, and just watch him during the games, he was always frustrated. He felt like he wasn't getting the ball, and you can just see it. So I think the Sanders overload is killing them. Now, on top of that, you all may think this is small or petty, but I just named a lot of the Sanders situation. Then you also got Sanders playing their rap music in the locker room. The Sanders are playing the locker room in the arena when you're warming up. Sometimes when they travel to the games, last year you could hear their rap music being played. And I think eventually you just get to the point where you're like, man, okay, enough is enough. Especially when you're losing. That when you're winning, it doesn't feel as bad. But when you're not winning, it can bother you. So just always remember, he left knowing them. He's known them and their family basically his whole life. So for him to leave like he did, it had to be a great reason. I don't think we may never know the true story behind the scenes, but he took a big leap. We're going to wish the best for him. Again, he also understands this that they're going to try to make Shador an Heisman candidate this year. And to do that, you're going to do a lot more passing, maybe even more than you did last year, especially if you get a line where you get a line and you don't have to really, he can take his time and he can really pick your part because he is that good. So that is that. Those are the reasons I think that's why he left. I'm going to wish him success. Do I think the bus will be fine? I do because of the recruiting they're doing, and they got 33 new guys coming in. I think Coach Prominent will still be okay, but I'm also wish that Dylan is okay. So this has been another segment, Hunt 919 Truth Sports. Ride with me.